Welcome! Today we're diving into something pretty radical, an ancient prophecy that talks about a promise to completely change the human heart, literally transforming us from the inside out.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. What if laws weren't something you had to memorize from a book? What if they were just part of you, like an internal compass written right into your heart? That's the huge shift we're going to unpack today, moving from an outward religion to a deeply personal, inward reality.
Okay, so to really get how big of a deal this promise was, we first have to rewind a bit and look at what the system was like before. This is what the book of Hebrews calls the first covenant. You can think of it as, a sacred agreement that was all centered around a physical, real-world place of worship.
And this whole system was about things you could see and touch. It was very tangible. We're talking specific rituals, ceremonies, and a holy sanctuary that was a literal building right here on earth. Your connection to God pretty much happened through these physical, external actions.
Yeah, it was all grounded in these very specific physical items. You had the lampstand, the special bread, a golden altar, all things that reinforce this idea of an external faith. And the most important piece of it all? The Ark of the Covenant. Why? Because inside it were the stone tablets. The law itself was a physical object, literally written in stone, totally separate from the people.
But then, something changes. A prophecy pops up that points to a totally different way of doing things. And this wasn't just about tweaking the old system or making a few improvements. No, this was about replacing its entire foundation with something brand new, something internal.
And this quote from the prophet Ezekiel really hits the nail on the head. It talks about this, it's like a divine surgery. God promises to actually remove a heart of stone from a person and give them a heart of flesh in its place. Now, that's not just pretty language. It's a promise to fundamentally rewire human nature, starting from the inside. And you can see the difference so clearly here, right? A heart of stone, it's exactly what it sounds like. Hard, cold, totally unreceptive. It's rigid, it resists change. But a heart of flesh, that's alive. It's responsive, it's open to guidance. The whole promise is about moving from the state of spiritual stiffness to real, vibrant spiritual life.
So this promise of a new heart, it becomes the absolute foundation for a new agreement, what's called the new covenant. And its whole operating system is, completely different from that first one.
And here's where the prophet Jeremiah just spells it out. The law isn't going to be on stone tablets in a box anymore. Instead, God says he will put it inside people's minds and write it directly on their new, responsive hearts. The law stops being a thing you have and becomes part of who you are.
So let's just break it down. The contrast is everything. The first covenant was all about external stuff, physical rituals, a building on earth, objects you could touch. The new covenant, it's all about the internal, a law written on the heart, a personal inner change. It's a total flip from the outside in. So what's the result of this huge shift? Well, the prophecy points to two incredible outcomes. First, people would have a direct, personal knowledge of God. You wouldn't need a priest or a teacher to explain it to you. And second, complete and total forgiveness for everything you've done wrong. It would be like it never happened, remembered no more. Okay, so we get the what, right? An internal law written on a new heart. But that leads to the obvious next question. How? How does a heart of stone actually become a heart of flesh? How does that transformation happen?
Well, the key, and we see this in the book of Philippians, is that this isn't some self-help project. It's not about you just trying harder to be good. The text is clear. It's God himself who works in you, giving you not just the ability, but even the desire to live in this new way.
You can kind of break the process down into three main steps. First, you have that divine heart transplant we talked about from Ezekiel. The stone heart is out, the heart of flesh is in. Second, God's own spirit is placed inside that person. And third, that spirit gets to work creating a new will, giving you both the want to and the how to live this new life.
So when you put it all together, what we're looking at is a complete paradigm shift. It's a journey away from a faith based on external rules, rituals, and a specific place, to one that is completely internal, personal, and empowered from within. The holy place, the sanctuary, moves from a temple made of stone into the human heart itself. Pretty incredible.
And that leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on, doesn't it? If the real engine of our faith and morality is supposed to be this internal reality, not just an external rulebook, how does that change the way we look at laws, rules, and our own actions today? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us.